Ciao legends, thanks for joining. About 6 months ago, I walked into the AP house in Milan, wanting to start a journey. Everyone I'd spoken to said that the golden era of AP was already over, but I wasn't ready to agree. I left an hour later, having heard mostly about the code 1159, and with a question I haven't been able to shake since. Is AP still a Trinity brand? I think I finally have my answer. The Holy Trinity, Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, Audemars Piguet. If you're watching these, you know what that means, and you know it's treated like something carved in stone. 3 Swiss maisons sitting above everyone else, not just in price, but in craft, in legacy, in what they represent. I've been back and forth on making this video for a while, because I still love the Royal Oak. I mean it. I love what that watch did for the industry, but love for one design and believing a brand still belongs at the very top are two different things. And I kept leaning on one side of that question when it came to AP. Here's the question that keeps coming back to me. Strip the Royal Oak from AP's catalog and tell me what's left. Pull the Nautilus from Patek, the Calatrava, the Golden Ellipse, the Aquanaut are still standing. Pull the Overseas from Vacheron, the Comte de Vache, the American 1921, the 222, the Patrimony are still there. Remove the Royal Oak from AP. And what do you have? Nearly every collector I've spoken to will say the same thing privately, even when they won't say it publicly. Audemars Piguet is a one-shape brand. Walk into any AP conversation and it immediately becomes a Royal Oak conversation. 3 out of AP's 6 main collections, the Royal Oak, the Royal Oak Offshore, the Royal Oak Concept are the same octagonal frame at different scales. The Code 1159, which AP launched in 2019, was a proper second pillar. The community rejected it, the design was polarizing, the price felt off, and the whole episode revealed something uncomfortable. AP had spent so long conditioning collectors around one silhouette that anything aside, it felt like an imposition from their own brand. Now, to AP's credit, there are signs of life. The RD series represents the real R&D. The RD5, an ultra-thin flying tourbillon chronograph inside the Royal Oak Jumbo at just 8.1 millimeters is serious work. The Code 1159 RD4 as well. The Remaster series showed creative ambition, the Remaster 2 in particular from my personal taste. And the Neo frame launched this year is the most interesting thing they've done in years. A jumping hour in a rectangular case, Art Deco roots, and importantly, it's a regular production piece, not a limited run. But the R&D pieces are research releases, not collections the market can access. The remasters were limited editions, and the Neo frame launched 6 months ago. Whether it becomes an established line or follows the path of the Code 1159, we simply don't know yet. When the counter argument to AP is a one watch brand requires you to list pieces most collectors can't buy or a collection that just launched, something is off. The Royal Oak is extraordinary. It's also a prison they built themselves. Something the watch community barely touches, because the conversation always goes straight to Rolex, is what it actually feels like to walk into an AP boutique. The Rolex AD situation has a structural nuance. Rolex authorized dealers are independent retailers. Rolex doesn't directly control what happens inside those stores, which explains a lot the inconsistencies in that experience. AP houses are operated by AP directly. Full control, every decision in that space is a brand decision. I was really excited when I booked an appointment at the AP house in Milan. When you book, you select the model you're interested in. I went in hoping to start a conversation, register my interest, understand the process. What happened instead was that roughly half of the appointment was spent with a salesperson working through a tablet, gathering my interests, what I do for work, my hobbies, lifestyle, basically a marketing survey, not an expression of interest, which made it odd given I already specified what I was there for when I booked. When we got to watches, the SA wasn't well informed. Questions I considered straightforward either were unanswered or were answered wrong. And the pieces brought out for me to handle had visible scratches and wear on them. Go to a Vacheron Constantin boutique. The preparation is different, the condition of the pieces is spotless, and the depth of knowledge is outstanding. Patek is a slightly different comparison because most of their presence sits under independent ADs rather than directly operated boutiques, so the experience varies more, and that's worth acknowledging. But even there, the knowledge level of their SAs is excellent. When you operate your own houses and the customer experience doesn't match the price point, that creates a value gap in my opinion. opinion. And at this level, the experience is part of what you're buying. At this tier, the catalog needs to prove depth across multiple eras. Vacheron has the Comte de Vache, first released in 1955, the American 1921, the 222, the Overseas, the Patrimony, the Traditionnel. In 2015, the reference 57260, the Solaria, multiple chapters, multiple design languages, multiple centuries. Patek has the Calatrava from 1932, the Nautilus in 1976, the Golden Ellipse, the Gondolo, the Aquanaut, the Cubitus, reference after reference in grand complications and perpetual calendars. The depth doesn't need marketing to explain itself. And crucially, the Nautilus didn't swallow the rest of the brand. AP has real technical and engineering achievements in its history. The Calibre 2120 in 1976 was the thinnest automatic movement in the world at the time. The Grande Complication pocket watch predates much of this conversation. But too many of these milestones are one-off or limited. The kind of ongoing design architecture that keeps a brand actively earning its position, multiple collections, multiple identities, multiple reasons to pay attention, AP hasn't had that in a long time. What a brand allocates its energy to tells you what it thinks its job is. The most recent AP collaboration is with Yoon Verbal, the APxYV Royal Oak Concept Flying Tourbillon, 150 pieces, announced last week. Before that, the AP was Watch Royal Pop, and before those, Travis Scott, John Mayer, Tamara Ralph, Marvel, and many others. The Royal Oak concept has become the collab canvas. I'm not saying collaborations are inherently wrong, some of these are interesting products. But when the rate of cultural partnership outpaces the rate of actual horological development, and when those partnerships are almost always limited editions, built for short-term attention, you're making a choice. A Spider-Man Royal Oak sells out within hours and gets forgotten by the industry within a few years. Hopefully. The Calibre 2120 still gets referenced today. And alongside all of these, there is a growing movement of collector feedback pointing to quality control concerns at AP. Misprinted dials, dust in the casing, malfunctioning movements. It should never be the case for a brand at this level. I'm Italian, so when I bring Alfa Romeo into a conversation, I understand it's a bit of a delicate subject. When Alfa Romeo raced, they were something else entirely. They dominated the Mille Miglia in the 30s. They won the first two Formula One World Championships in 1950 and 1951, a legacy that shaped the car and the racing industry. The racing horse you see on Ferrari exists because Enzo Ferrari ran Alfa Romeo cars before he built his own. Don't even start me where Ferrari is at today. Alfa also won a B in the early 90s in the DTM Championship and shocked Germany in the process. When they came back to Formula One to sponsor Sauber in 2018, I was really happy about it. A brand remembering what it was. They picked a 6th in the construction in 2022, then dropped to 9th, then walked away at the end of 2023. 6 seasons in total, and the brand left the sport quieter than when it arrived. I appreciated the attempt, but the 6-year marketing chapter didn't add to their legacy. It just highlighted the distance from it. That's what I've ended up with AP. The Royal Oak in 1972 was Gerald Genta actually changing the rules. A luxury sports watch in stainless steel, integrated bracelet priced above gold, while the industry was taken by Japanese quartz watches. The Nautilus, the Engineer, the 222, the Laureato, the Riviera, none of those exist without the Royal Oak going first. I acknowledge completely what that design has contributed to the industry, but AP has been drawing on that for over 50 years. And the brand I walked out of the AP house thinking about is not the brand that earned it. So, is AP still a Trinity brand? It pains me to say this, but my answer is no. Not right now, not the AP of today, at the time I'm recording this. The Neo frame is the most interesting thing they've released in years. The RD work shows there is real talent inside the manufacturer, but one promising new collection doesn't rebalance a decade of collab-first thinking, a client experience that doesn't hold up against the competition, and a portfolio where half of the models share the same design case. The Trinity was built on brands that keep earning it. I don't think AP is doing that at the moment. But hey, that's just my humble take on the current state of this maison. What do you think? Does AP still hold that seat for you? And if not, who takes the 3rd spot? Leave your take in the comments. I'm open to healthy and pointed debates. Like and subscribe if you're new here, and I will catch you in the next one. Cheers!